I have a similar take on my own. I mean, we were both working so hard in that first job and grinding so hard. It was like a culture of grinding that I took away a very similar thing as you, where it was realization that there's like a time and a place for that. And I think often that's in your 20s, and it's when you're learning, and maybe you can fast forward and learn how to actually run a business or do business or conduct these things. But then at a certain point, it becomes counterproductive, right? And I
Hmm.
think that is an interesting transition point where you realize, wow, like what the stories that I told myself about work no longer serve me at all. And
Yeah.
I'm actually holding myself back from like richer relationships, holding my business back from growth because I'm decided I'm going to like carry too much of a load and not progressing and not going to the next level. One of my like intentions and goals for this year is to change like I guess change the story and energy that I have around work, especially exploring new things. I think one of the stories that I've had for a long time is like when I try something new or I explore something new, I have to go into it with like reckless like abandon for to like dive all in on it and work
Yeah.
on it constantly
Yeah.
when I don't even know if that's even necessary or if it's actually good, right? Where maybe if I can somehow change the way that I show up in my energy, that I will attract enough people around me that also want to be involved in this, that the project can move faster together rather than just me being like a grinder on it, you know?
I know. Yeah. That resonates a lot with me too. So yeah, it is. It's like one of those things where, especially as like in doing the whole entrepreneur thing, like at least for me, like you hold on to things for too long. Like I've held on to a lot of things in the business for far too long. And like, as soon as I like can finally be like, okay, there's other people that are way more qualified and are better off doing this. Like they just like appear, and it's like, oh, like this just happened recently with the guy who does like a lot of our kind of like back end like web dev stuff. He like hit me up over winter break, and he's like, hey John, like I love like the company culture. I love what you guys are building. Like I want to get more involved in doing stuff just outside of like Shopify dev stuff. And like, come to find out this guy's like a supply chain, like EDI, like connoisseur who is like exactly who we need as we scale into retail. And I'm like, yes, like I was just talking to Tyler about us getting this person in the mix. And like, as soon as you're like ready to like really dive in and figure some of these things out, there's usually somebody that will come into your world that is probably way better at it than you can ever be. And it's more fun when you're working with people like that anyways. So
It is. But it's wild how that happens because I feel like I'm continually going through a process of letting go of what I like where I think that things are should go and what timeline. And then there's like this fear of, okay, if I make this decision or let go of this, then I'm not going to be able to find this person, so it's going to be really really hard. But really, it's like the moment when I let go of it is when that person, like you said, that person appears or that thing happens because I don't know what it is, your consciousness starts looking for these types of people.
mhm.
And it's like I think that's the battle as as an entrepreneur is to continue to go through, fight the urge to hold on to something because you can't see the future of what it would look like without you holding on to it.
Mhm.
Trust that it'll be fine, and then push through, and then
Yeah.
do it over and over again.
Yes. Yeah, it's you literally are speaking to me. I'm like in that right now. It's just like it's over and over. It's a wild thing. You think like hiring the first couple of employees, it's like this huge deal, and then it's like the next thing you know, there's all these other things, and it's like it feels like the same thing. And I don't know if it was Drew who was on your podcast, but he was just like, what did he Drew Sanaki? I think he was like, it's just as hard to run a small business as it is a big business, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I was like, wow. I was like, man, like that's crazy. Cause like it probably is. And I'm sure he's absolutely right. And like, it's just, it's such a repetitive, like more of the same situation, but like you have to keep evolving along the way. Otherwise you're going to get stuck, you know? And we've been stuck at Boom Boom before. And that's because of me, you know, and I know that. So it's always a nice reminder, and that's another reason why I'm trying to get out and like talk to more founders. It's like the more founders and like owners I'm talking to, I'm like, okay, like this is all normal and is happening to everybody, and like you gotta figure your way around it. You gotta just keep pushing. That's the only way to do it.